I was searching the ocean on Google Maps, looking for anything unusual, when I spotted a long structure made up of many smaller sections connected together. Right away, it looked too organized to be random. To me, it seemed like something that may have been built by intelligent beings long ago, and maybe even something that could still be occupied today. But here's the wild question. If another intelligent species existed, would we even recognize it? Maybe only if it wanted to be recognized. What if some unknown life form appeared as glowing lights that were only visible under certain conditions at night? Reports of strange lights have been shared in places like China, Japan, and Taiwan for years, and this location sits right in the middle of that region. That idea caught my attention because of an experience I had about 13 years ago in New Taipei City. Around midnight, while standing outside my apartment building with my wife and son, we noticed hundreds of glowing objects moving across the sky. They looked almost transparent, like floating teardrops of light, and seemed to be traveling incredibly fast. After most of them passed overhead, several suddenly turned around and began circling above us, almost as if they had noticed we were watching. My son, who was around 8 years old at the time, became frightened and started crying because he thought they might be ghosts. My wife took him back inside while I continued watching. A few minutes later, the lights appeared to gather together, forming a huge glowing sphere that looked nearly as large as the moon from our perspective. The entire event lasted only about 7 to 10 minutes. I recorded some video, but the lights were extremely faint and barely visible on camera. I can't prove what they were, but the experience stayed with me. Since then, I've seen similar footage from different parts of the world, often explained as distant city lights or other common causes. Still, the resemblance to what I witnessed has always made me wonder if there could be more to the story. The more attention the underwater structure received, the more theories began to surface. Located between Taiwan and Japan, the formation appeared as a long chain of evenly spaced shapes on satellite imagery. To some observers, it looked far too organized to be a natural feature. The rows seemed almost connected, creating the impression of a massive construction hidden beneath the ocean for an unknown length of time. What made the story even more intriguing was its location. This stretch of ocean has been associated with unusual sightings for decades. Pilots, fishermen, cargo ship crews, and local residents have all reported strange lights over the water at various times. Most of these reports have ordinary explanations, but a small number remain unexplained, and that was enough to spark endless speculation online. As people examined the images more closely, a new theory started gaining momentum. Some believed the underwater formation could be part of a forgotten ancient structure, perhaps dating back to a time when sea levels were much lower than they are today. Supporters of the idea pointed out that ancient coastlines around the world now lie beneath the ocean. If entire settlements can disappear underwater, they argued, then discovering unusual submerged formations shouldn't be impossible. The UFO connection emerged when several researchers noticed something curious. A number of reported light sightings seemed to cluster around the same general region. Maps created by enthusiasts showed a rough overlap between the location of the underwater formation and areas where unusual aerial observations had allegedly occurred. While this did not prove any connection, it fueled discussions across forums and mystery websites for years. One story in particular attracted attention. A commercial vessel traveling through nearby waters reportedly observed multiple lights rising from the horizon shortly after sunset. According to the account, the objects moved silently and maintained a tight formation before rapidly disappearing into the distance. No clear explanation was ever attached to the report. Over time, storytellers began linking incidents like this to the underwater structure, suggesting that whatever was beneath the ocean might somehow be connected to the strange lights seen above it. Then another possibility entered the discussion. Some theorists proposed that the structure itself wasn't actually a building at all, but instead the visible remains of a much larger complex buried under layers of sediment. In this version of the story, only the highest portions remained visible on mapping data, while the majority of the site remained hidden beneath the seafloor. If true, the formation could be far larger than it appeared from satellite imagery alone. Of course, many experts caution that satellite images can be misleading. Underwater mapping often creates patterns that look artificial when they are actually the result of geological formations. data stitching, or image processing effects. Even so, the unusual appearance of the formation continues to capture attention because it sits at the center of so many legends and unexplained reports. As years passed, the mystery grew beyond a simple image on a map. The underwater formation became the centerpiece of a much larger story involving unexplained lights, eyewitness accounts, ancient civilization theories, and the possibility that something unusual might still be hidden beneath the waters between Taiwan and Japan. Whether the answer turns out to be natural, historical, or something nobody has yet considered, the questions surrounding the site refuse to disappear. The story took an even stranger turn when researchers and mystery enthusiasts began comparing the underwater formation to other unexplained sites around the world. They noticed that many of the most famous UFO hotspots seem to share one thing in common: proximity to large bodies of water. Lakes, oceans, deep coastal trenches, and remote islands appeared again and again in reports spanning decades. Whether this was meaningful or simply a coincidence remained heavily debated, but it added another layer to the growing mystery. Attention soon shifted toward the deep trench systems surrounding the area between Taiwan and Japan. Some sections of the ocean floor dropped dramatically into darkness, creating regions that remain difficult to study in detail even today. Supporters of the underwater base theory argued that if any hidden facility existed on Earth, the deep ocean would be one of the easiest places to conceal it. Vast, remote, and largely unexplored, the seabed offered countless locations where unusual structures could remain unnoticed for generations. Then, an old report resurfaced that immediately caught people's attention. Years earlier, a crew aboard a research vessel had reportedly detected an unusual sonar return while surveying part of the region. According to stories shared online, the object appeared larger than expected and seemed different from the surrounding terrain. Unfortunately, the original data was never publicly released, and the claim remained impossible to verify. Even so, believers pointed to the report as another clue suggesting that something unusual might be hidden below. As the theory spread, some began wondering whether the lights reported in the skies were actually traveling from somewhere beneath the ocean. Witnesses occasionally described glowing objects appearing near the horizon before climbing upward at steep angles. Most likely explanations involved distant aircraft, atmospheric effects, or misidentified lights. Yet among enthusiasts, a far more dramatic possibility gained traction: that some of the sightings represented objects emerging from the sea itself. The underwater structure became the center of these discussions. Looking at the satellite images, supporters claimed the formation resembled a series of connected sections stretching across the seabed. Some compared it to an enormous wall. Others believed it looked like foundations, corridors, or even docking platforms. The interpretations varied wildly, but nearly everyone agreed on one thing: the pattern looked unusual enough to keep people talking. Then another fascinating detail entered the conversation. The region sits near several areas known for intense geological activity. Earthquakes, underwater volcanic systems, and shifting tectonic plates constantly reshape portions of the ocean floor. This opened the door to a different theory altogether. What if the structure wasn't artificial at all? What if it was a rare geological formation that happened to mimic the appearance of a constructed site? That possibility couldn't be ruled out and remained one of the strongest conventional explanations. Still, mystery researchers pointed to the consistency of the stories. Over the years, reports described glowing objects, unusual radar contacts, strange lights over the water, and unexplained observations from sailors traveling through the region. None of these accounts proved the existence of a hidden underwater base. Yet together, they created a narrative that was difficult for enthusiasts to ignore. The biggest unanswered question remained the same. If the formation was merely a natural feature, why had it inspired so many theories and attracted attention from people around the world? And if it was something more, why had no definitive expedition ever settled the matter once and for all? That uncertainty kept the legend alive. Every new satellite image, every witness account, and every report of strange lights near the waters between Taiwan and Japan seemed to add another puzzle piece to a mystery that had been growing for years. Somewhere beneath those dark Pacific waters, believers argued, there could still be a secret waiting to be uncovered. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about what we had seen. I went back through the video frame by frame, hoping I had missed something the night before. The footage was blurry and the lights were faint, but there were moments where several of the glowing objects appeared to move in ways that caught my attention. They didn't seem to follow a straight path like aircraft normally would, which only made the mystery even deeper. For weeks, I started searching online for similar reports. That's when I found people from different parts of Asia describing strange clusters of lights moving silently across the sky. Some claimed the lights changed direction suddenly, while others said they seemed to gather together before fading away. Of course, many of these stories had ordinary explanations, but a few sounded surprisingly close to what my family witnessed that night. The more I looked into the area where I found that unusual structure on Google Maps, the more questions I had. The shape seemed oddly organized, almost like a chain stretching beneath the water. Some people believed it was a natural formation, while others argued it could be connected to human activity. There wasn't enough evidence to know for sure, but the debate itself was fascinating. Then something unexpected happened. A person contacted me after hearing about my experience and claimed they had seen similar lights near the coast years earlier. According to them, the objects appeared shortly before midnight, moved silently across the sky, and then vanished without a trace. Whether it was a coincidence or not, the similarities were hard to ignore and only added another layer to the mystery. As the months passed, the mystery only grew stranger. Every time I thought I had found a reasonable explanation, another detail would appear and raise even more questions. I began comparing reports, locations, dates, and descriptions from people who claimed to have witnessed similar glowing objects. While many accounts were different, a few shared details that were surprisingly consistent. One report stood out more than the others. A group of night fishermen claimed they had seen dozens of glowing lights hovering low above the water before suddenly moving away at incredible speed. They described the objects as silent and almost transparent, with a soft glow that seemed to pulse in the darkness. What caught my attention was that the sighting reportedly happened not far from the area where I had noticed the unusual structure on Google Maps. Curious, I spent hours examining satellite images from different years. Some images appeared to show subtle changes around the location, while others revealed almost nothing unusual at all. The conflicting views sparked intense debates online. Some people argued that the structure was simply a result of natural underwater formations or image distortions. Others believed there could be something much more unusual hidden beneath the surface. Then another strange claim surfaced. A local resident shared a story about seeing distant lights over the ocean on multiple occasions. According to the account, the lights would sometimes appear individually, then slowly gather into larger formations before fading away. No photographs clearly captured the event, which only fueled more speculation and disagreement among those following the story. By this point, the mystery had become bigger than a single sighting or a single location. Between the unusual structure, the stories from witnesses, and the reports of strange lights, there seemed to be a growing collection of unanswered questions. Whether there was a simple explanation or something far more unexpected behind it all, people couldn't stop talking about it. One detail kept bothering me more than anything else. It wasn't the lights themselves or even the strange structure on the map. It was the timing. The reports seemed scattered at first, but after digging through old forum posts, archived articles, and witness accounts, I noticed a pattern that was difficult to ignore. Many sightings appeared to happen within a narrow window of time, usually late at night, and often during periods of unusually calm weather. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence. After all, people are more likely to notice unusual lights when the sky is clear. But then I found several accounts from boat operators who worked regular routes through the region. These weren't people actively searching for mysteries. They were experienced workers who spent years on the water and knew the difference between ships, aircraft, weather effects, and reflections. A handful of them described seeing glowing objects that appeared suddenly near the horizon before moving in coordinated ways that they couldn't easily explain. One account stood out from all the others. The captain of a small fishing vessel reportedly described an incident that took place years earlier during a quiet night at sea. According to his story, several lights appeared low above the water and remained visible for nearly 20 minutes. Instead of drifting randomly, the objects maintained equal spacing between one another, almost like they were following a formation. The captain initially assumed they were distant boats, but that explanation became harder to accept when the lights began changing position far faster than expected. What made the report especially interesting was what happened next. The captain claimed that after watching the lights for several minutes, he noticed something unusual on his navigation equipment. The signal briefly fluctuated, then returned to normal. He couldn't prove there was any connection between the two events, and equipment issues can happen for many ordinary reasons. Still, the timing was enough to leave a strong impression on everyone aboard the vessel. As more stories surfaced, another possibility started gaining attention. Some researchers suggested that rare atmospheric conditions over the ocean might create unusual visual effects that could explain at least some of the sightings. Others pointed out that no single explanation seemed to fit every report. The mystery became a tug-of-war between competing theories, with each side finding evidence to support its own view. What made the situation so compelling was that nobody could produce a definitive answer. There were stories, observations, photographs, and endless debate, but no piece of evidence strong enough to settle the question once and for all. The deeper people looked into the reports, the more they realized that the real mystery wasn't just the lights themselves. It was why so many unrelated witnesses, separated by years and distance, kept describing remarkably similar events. So what is really hiding beneath these waters between Taiwan and Japan? Is the strange formation simply an unusual geological feature, a forgotten remnant from the distant past, or the source of the countless stories about mysterious lights seen above the ocean for decades? The truth is that nobody knows for certain, and that unanswered question is exactly what keeps this mystery alive. One thing is clear, this underwater structure continues to spark debate, curiosity, and speculation all around the world. Until a detailed investigation finally reveals the truth, the mystery remains unsolved. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Also, leave a comment below and tell us what you think this underwater structure really is. Could there be more to the story than we've been told?